spoil everything, didn't you?
It's over, Joker.
Do you really think you can win? Poor little bat.
Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Headbanging Life, gbhbl.com for sure. And it's flashback time as we go into the 2009 action-adventure game developed by Rocksteady Studios and published by Eidos Interactive in conjunction with Warner Brothers. It is, of course, Batman Arkham Asylum, the first of the Batman games in the modern era, based on, of course, the DC Comics superhero Batman. In the game's main storyline, Batman battles his arch-enemy, the Joker, who instigates an elaborate plot to seize control of Arkham Asylum, trap Batman inside with many of his incarcerated foes, and threaten Gotham City with hidden bombs. Most of the game's leading characters are voiced by actors who appeared in other media, including Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Arian Sorkin, reprising the roles as Batman, the Joker, and Harley Quinn, respectively. The game is presented from a third-person perspective with a primary focus on Batman's combat and stealth abilities. Detective skills and gadgets that can be used in combat and exploration. Batman can freely move around the Arkham Asylum facility, interacting with characters and undertaking missions and unlocking new areas by progressing through the main story or obtaining new equipment. Of course, there are side missions as well, which the player is able to do, unlocking additional content and collectible items. And combat focuses on basically chaining attacks against numerous foes while avoiding damage. In addition, this would end up having, as well as the main game, you'd have this extra sort of mode section where you can't remember what it's called, but you'd have basically the stealth parts and you had to do certain things in them, and the fight ones, where you had to reach certain things to get the best score, and then you'd earn medals from that tied into achievements. This is an excellent game. It's not the best Batman of them. That is Arkham City. Arkham City was definitely better, which is the sequel to this. But what a start this was. This was the first Batman game I played since like Super Nintendo days, you know? There wasn't anything released on like PlayStation, Nintendo 64, GameCube or anything like that at all. So to jump back into the world of Batman and it to be this.
Yeah, definitely.
Spectacular. The opening, let's talk about things we love then. As always, love, things we love, things we hate. Favourite moments, scenes, bits of music. So, favourite moments then. The opening. The control of Batman where you're not really in control and you're leading Joker through Arkham to his cell and he's teasing you. That's such a great opening.
Yeah, definitely.
Really is such a great opening. It really sets up the game, the graphics, the look, and obviously then the eventual how it goes down.
Yeah, I mean, graphically the game is beautiful. It's dark. It's what you expect a Batman game to be like.
Well, being colourful as well. Yeah,
Yep.
Absolutely.
But
the location, while it's not obviously the size of Arkham City, the asylum is very, very cool to explore. It's very big. You get to go outside. You get to experience that. You get to glide. You get to be You get to be Batman. I think that's actually the better way of putting it.
Yeah.
It was one of the location. You get to be Batman within this location and dealing with many of his foes.
Yeah. I mean, the different amount of weapons and moves you can do, and it just feels so smooth too when you control the Batman game.
Yeah. Talking of which, then let's dive into that one. Then combat. Batman's combat is phenomenal. Taking on 20 enemies and chaining these smooth attacks together bit by bit and not taking a single bit of damage and you're getting a higher combo. It is phenomenal. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love fighting. You will love fighting on Batman. By the end, you'll probably be trying to avoid a few of them. He keeps doing this because he really wants to talk about something he's frustrating about. But I love combat. But the thing I love more is I love the detective side of things in this Batman game. And I don't just mean doing the clues, because I think Arkham City did that better. I'm talking about the parts where you have to sneak around in an area and take them out one by one and they're freaking out and things like that. The bonus stuff, the individual missions and levels where you're just doing that were great fun. And I always enjoyed the detective ones more than the combat ones. In that sense.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of my favourite bits is, like I said, like this sneaking around, using your weapons to confuse them. And because obviously you would experience the Batman game with, it's just going to be going there, beat the crap out of them, catch a Joker, whatever. But this game was different. You know?
Yeah, I agree. What else can I say I really like? I've said so much already. Okay, well, let's move on then to things we don't like. This isn't really fair in the game, but it's simply put, like, it got better in every way with Arkham City, you know? And it's not to sort of say Asylum's bad because of that, because sequels have got bigger and better and stuff like that. The end boss, the transformed Joker on top of the roof, it's not exactly the best final boss, is it?
No.
You got any?
Yeah, I've got plenty.
Go on him.
Yeah, so this is the only one I've played in the series.
Yep.
And it's all down to, because back in the day, admittedly, I was a bit of an achievement whore.
Yep.
And because of one particular achievement, and just particularly the fact that, and I apologise to my brother, but not you, but to my brother Brendan, but the fact that he could get his achievement.
So rude.
I'm sorry, but the fact that he could get his achievement, and I couldn't, frustrated the crap out of me, and for that I will refuse to play these games for a long time.
Yeah, you're bitter over this. So this is these are the combat missions and earning all the medals in them. And later on, you would they would get harder and harder. And Shock and Awe, which is the one you're speaking of, and it's Shock and Awe Extreme, right?
Yep.
That's the one.
That's the one.
And so not only do you have a very tight timer, but you also had this issue where the floor would electrify in certain segments over certain periods, meaning your combo was even harder to keep together. So it is a very, very difficult one, which is, here's the maddest thing of all, right? So I replayed these games as the remastered versions quite recently. And I was dreading it because I remember that I struggled with Shock and Awe. I think I remember doing it with like 2 seconds left, right? Like that kind of thing. I was dreading it, got through all of them, left Shock and Awe Extreme to the last. No, I think I decided not to leave to the last. I think I went out my way going, do it, get it done. If you can do it, or fine if you can't do it. And so on. And I remember I did it. I played it, and I got really close immediately. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, my skills, like, they're there and stuff like that. 3 or 4 times later, done. I texted you, didn't I? I was like, just did it again. I thought I took a picture and sent it to you as I just did it again, you know? Here's the thing. You would have been able to do it. It's just that you just gave up.
I spent hours.
So did I.
Yeah.
But basically, Damon's bitter because of 4 brothers, there's 4 of us, all of us have done this, except you.
I'll eventually, I'm sure I will attempt it again at some point.
If the remastered version has all the games in one, including Arkham City, which I'll tell you now, has some damn right difficult challenges as well. Really, and some of the detective ones and the stealth ones are very, very difficult. The extreme versions, and that you really need to have skill with and stuff like that. Because I think what Arkham City introduced as well is the extreme versions have restrictions where you have to not just meet certain things, but you're not allowed to use this item, you're not allowed to use that and stuff like that. So the introduction of Asylum, for me personally, I love this shit. I love both the fighting bonuses and the detective ones. I thoroughly enjoy them. It's not something I can say I hate, although I can understand they're frustrating if they're so hard and you want to get all the achievements.
I've forgiven it now. I've forgiven it after all these years, but I mean, I haven't forgiven Epic, but I've forgiven that. So.
Yeah, the Riddler trophies. This is something I got to say I hate. Again, I'll say this: it's not as bad as it is in Arkham City. Arkham City is disgraceful, but the whole Riddler trophy things gets real old, real fucking quick. You don't even want to know if it's like 200 in Arkham City. But yeah, the Riddler stuff doesn't really do much for me, you know. Okay, well, favourite moments, scenes, bits of music?
Turning the game off and never playing it again.
You take these things too personally.
No, well, back then I did, because obviously I was.
Yeah, but it's really you're the one that it's not the game's fault. It's you're not good enough.
I refuse to answer that with a decent answer.
Everyone else does it. You didn't. I've done it again.
I've done things that other people couldn't do. You know, I completed Max Payne 3 on the impossible difficulty all the way through that dying. So that was difficult as hell. But no, like I said, I've because of that one moment, I've not played any other Batman since. But I'm sure, like I said, eventually I will go back and do these. And if I do it, I'm going to frame it and stick it on the wall and send a copy to Brendan, just for the fact that he did it and I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, a great moment is gliding from up high, gliding over the asylum, just having that glide as Batman. A great thing, as the game goes on, how his armour and gets more tattered, and like his cape gets more rips and holes in it. Those touches are amazing. It's an Easter egg. There's an Easter egg in it. You know, a famous Easter egg, which I think is a great moment as well, which is if you get into the warden's office, you can find a secret wall, and if you blow it up in there, you'll find the plans for Arkham City, which is a real cool Easter egg for what they were planning in the next game. Voices, everyone's brilliant in this. Obviously, they're the legit voices. Kevin Conroy for Batman, Mark Hamill for Joker. They're amazing. They really, really are. There's very little flaws in this game. There's so many great moments and scenes. Just the Scarecrow part where Batman has to obviously, you know, deal with his parents' death. That stuff. Absolutely. Well, if you've got any thoughts, don't let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?